Dear students and working accountants, welcome to my Smart Tally Prime class YouTube channel. Till yesterday in the last video, so we have learned about the special features, that is go to, switch to. Okay. Before that, we learned about the accounting vouchers. So our next step is to record the transactions in the concerned accounting voucher. That also we have discussed already. So by seeing the transactions, we have to decide or we have to select which is the correct accounting voucher to record the transaction. So that also we know. So we are ready to record the transactions. But before recording the transactions, we have to note two problems. So we will face problems when recording. So we have to know about two things that will now we will share the screen and I'll show you. That is, one is generally in the manual accounting, we learned already all the transactions will be recorded in the journal. So in the journal, we record like with debit, credit, DR, CR. But in the ledger, when you are posting, so that I already showed you in the fundamentals of accounting chapter. So I'll show you now. In the fundamentals of accounting, we know. So in the fundamentals of accounting, we learned about that. I'll show you. See that. See here. So in the fundamentals of accounting topic, we learned everything about the manual accounting system. Manual accounting system. In that, so while recording the transactions in the beginning, what we will do, we will decide we will analyze the transaction and we will decide which account is debited and which account is to be credited. So we record it as debit, credit. Debit account is one and another account is to be created. So we actually journal entry will be written in a different way. The journal entry will be written like the same. This is written as all the one account is debit and the credit account we know if what which is to be credited, DR and CR, it's enough. But in the manual accounting in the journal, that is recorded as debit account DR debtor, then credit account will be written as two credit account. So this is enough, debit and credit, okay, in this system. But in the journal, when you go to the journal, in the journal, the account which is to be debited means they entered on the debit side. Account is credited means entered on the credit side. So on the debit side, we start with 2 and write the credit account name. So 2 means credit account name. So on the credit side, if you want to posting, it is called posting. On the credit side, when we are posting, we start with by and we write the debit account name. That means by means debit account name. So by means debit account, 2 means credit account. So this is as per the ledger. As per journal, DRCR. As per ledger, 2 by. 2 means credit account. Remember, by means debit account. Debit credit means by 2. Debit means by, credit means 2. So this is as per journal. This is as per ledger. But in this case, in the case of tally, they follow the system as per ledger because when you are entering in the voucher, the same vouchers will be shown as ledger accounts. So they will be converted as ledgers. That is why they follow the system of ledgers. So debit and credit, instead of debit and credit, 2 by. So our thing is, so when you are recording the transactions, if you want to record as by 2, you will get confusion. So by means credit account, 2 means debit account. Is it? No. By means debit account, 2 means credit account. We will get confused. By means we are writing on the credit side of the ledger. That's why there we are writing by, but we are writing debit account name. But we are writing on the credit side. That's why by means credit. We may get confused. So by and 2, if you follow, we may get confused. That is why our original system of recording in the journal, DR and CR, that is that debit and credit, like DR and CR. If you do that, it will be easy. Debit means DR means debit, CR means credit. By two means by is debit, two is credit. But okay, but we will get sometimes we will get doubt and we will get confused. By means it may be credit or debit, like that. So instead of that by and two, we can use two, I mean debit and credit. So in the, I will show you this one in the Tally Prime, even in Tally ERP9 also. In the Tally, they follow the legit system 2 by. By default, that is given. By 2 by is by default, it is given. But it is better we record using DRCR. If it is that, you will not get any confusion. It will be easy for, I mean, recording the transactions. That is why you see here. For example, if you go to a voucher, the entry for, I mean, the key for voucher is equal to, I told you already, in all these sub items, all these options, there are some 4 headings: masters, transactions, utilities, reports. In these 4 headings, under the 4 headings, there are many options. For each option, one alphabet is capital letter and denoted with blue color. Blue color capital account, capital alphabet. That is the key for this one. See, for create it is key. For alter it is A. For chart of accounts, C already is taken. That is the next key. H is taken as C, capital and blue. And similarly, for vouchers, V is capital and blue. For a day book, here you see, here at the end K. The day book will come twice. Here K, in another place it will be D. Okay, I will show you that also. So K is the short key for in this gateway of Tally. In the gateway of Tally, for day book, the key is K. And banking, N is, see, banking, B means balance sheet, there is below, there is balance sheet is there. That is why you leave that. A means alter is there. For B, bank balance sheet is there. For A, alter is there. That is why third alphabet, N is taken as the key. So N is capital with blue color. So N is for banking. And for balance sheet, B is the first one letter. And for profit and loss account, P is the profit and loss account. For P is the key. And for stock summary, S is the key. For stock summary, S is the key. For ratio analysis, R is the key. Isn't it? So like this, there are short keys. So we will put kick voucher or enter V in the keyboard. Then we will enter the voucher. So in this voucher, I will show you one example for you. See, 1 minute, I will tell you 1 minute. That is and the voucher. So here in the voucher, it is started with by 2. So if you write something like, if you write something, Raghavendra, for example, 200, the next one will be 2. See, by 2, we check up. So in this journal and all others also, they started with by 2. They by 2. So the journals are entered as by 2, but we have to, if you use debit and credit, it will be very, very easy for you, easy for us. That is why this is to be changed. So that is our topic is how to activating this. How to activate debit. This already by default by 2 will be there. So we have to activate this one, that will be closed. This is called activating. So debit and credit, how to activate instead of 2 and by in Tally Prime, how to activate that. So that we will go. So in this, when you are making voucher entry in the vouchers, we have to do, what to do is, this is not available in the F11 features. It is not a feature. It is not a feature because features means you can use different features for different companies when you are making entries. But debit and credit, if you select a debit and credit, the whole Tally, in every company, so the recording will be not debit and credit only, no 2 by. In one company using 2 and by, in another company using debit and credit is not possible. If you activate the debit and credit, so all the companies, the total Tally, all the companies will be, we have to use only that one. That is why this is given in the configuration button, that is F12. See here, for every page on the right button menu, see at the down F12 configuration. I told you already, we discussed about F11 and F12. So F12 configure. So you click this one or click F12. If click F12, either click F12 in the keyboard or click here. Okay. So here, if you click, so this is the configuration window. But the F11 features window, that is screen, all the features will be fixed. They will be same in every company. In every window, it is the same. So whatever we require, we can enable, otherwise disable. But in this case, in the case of configuration, the options will be shown depending on the window which you are using. That is the screen. So the options relating to that window, that is that screen only, will be displayed. So here what you are taking journal, I mean voucher, accounting, voucher creation. This is the window. So in this window, the options required for this only will be displayed. So if you go to some other screen, there sometimes it will be only 4 or 5 lines, small one, because the options required for that window only, that screen only will be displayed in the configuration. So when you are making entries, we will know everything. So here, go to the configuration. We have to activate. What you have to do? Debit and credit you have to activate instead of to and by. See the first one. Use debit credit. Credit debit he has given. Debit credit instead of to by, because he has given to by. For to it is credit. For by it is debit. We say debit and credit. We can take it as by to during voucher entry. So it is no. By default, it will be like that. All the vouchers, I mean, the configuration options will be no. All the configuration will be no. We have to activate anything which you require. We have to activate here. Make it yes. Make it yes. Then save. Save instance. Control A. Control A. Saved. So here, see now. See here. The to by has gone. Instead of that, debit, credit. Debit Raghavendra, for example, credit, we can give it as, what is that? Credit journal. Acha. Raghavendra, so per person, we will not enter here. So we will take here. Computer, we are purchasing computer. So debit computer. Debit computer, DR, starts with DR. Debit computer. And only the asset, any asset which is purchased on credit only. If you purchase on cash, we'll pay cash. So that will be recorded in the payment voucher. But it is not recorded in the fixed asset, is not recorded in the purchase or sales. So here in the journal, if it is purchased on credit, that will be entered here. If it is purchased or sold on cash, it will be entered in the payment or receipt voucher here. So we are purchasing, and here 1 minute I will tell you. Yeah. See here, then we purchase from X and Co. So debit, computer account debit, credit to credit, X and Co. X and company credit. Like this we have to see. We changed it. So hereafter, you record anywhere in any company, so that we cannot see to by. So it is changed now. It is deactivated. That is deactivated. So to and by is deactivated, and debit and credit is it is activated, means the other one is deactivated. So to and by, instead of to and by, debit and credit is activated. Okay. So now you go to any voucher, you see, you go to vouchers, payment voucher you take. For example, payment voucher. See, this is a different one. I will come. Next one, we are going to discuss this. Okay. We are going to discuss. See here. See here. Here also DR and CR. DR and CR. This is not like this. So you go now DR. So if you enter DR, this is payment. So we paid to X Centigrader X and Co. Suppose 200 rupees, 2000 rupees. Okay. Sales they credit, debit credit. We paid through bank. If you pay cash, we can select cash. If you pay through bank, you can select State Bank of India. So in the case of journal, State Bank of India cash is not, we cannot see that, because in the journal we never enter cash or bank. That cash or bank will be entered in payment and receipt voucher only. That's why there it is not available. But here payment and receipt it will be available. So like this, debit and credit. So in all the things, like, okay. So we activated debit credit instead of this one. Not only this, you go to any company. I'll tell you. So you suppose you select Ratan Traders. That in this voucher also see debit and credit only. Debit is there, the credit will be there. So any company, so it is completely activated. That is debit and credit is activated, means all the companies, total tally, all the companies will be affected by that. In the case of features F11, they are company specific. In any company, in each company, whatever we require, we can activate. Others we need not activate. One feature is activated. That activation of that feature is limited to that company. In another company, that will not be activated. That you can do some other thing there. That's why their F11 features are company specific, and this configuration window, this configuration button is applicable to all the companies for the whole, what you call, what for the whole tally. So you go to another company. For example, you go to another company. Say another company, Ranga Traders, Ranga Rajesh Traders. Go to Rajesh Traders. There also you go to vouchers. There also you can take it. You can see only debit. By default, it is 2 by, but we activated this, so it is applicable to all the companies. It will be changed. Okay. So this is the first thing we learned. That is this. You are learning this. The next topic is dependent on this debit and credit. Next topic is dependent on this debit or credit or 2 by. We have not activated this. So in the next topic, that everywhere 2 and by you will see. That will be a little confusing. That's why we activated debit and credit. Next, now go. See, better to use debit and credit, but not by 2. It is better using debit and credit because it will be easy for us, because we know from the manual accounting system, which is debit and credit, it will be easy for us to record without confusion. 2 by means you'll get confusion definitely. Okay. Next one. So this is completed. This one is completed. The next one is how to enable single and double entry mode in TallyPrime. Single and double entry mode in TallyPrime. See here. Okay, we have no debit and credit, we have not yet. So now we can go and we can record. But while recording, the method of recording for each voucher, we will record the transaction. But while recording the transaction, the method of recording will be 2 types. The method of recording will be 2 types. That is called single entry and double entry. But the name is different and the method of showing that is different. But everything are the same. In double entry, what is meant by double entry? In every transaction, one account will be debited and one account will be credited with equal amounts. Both amounts should be equal. But in the case of single entry also, the method of showing in that also, there will be 2 accounts. One account is debit, one account is credit. But the difference is, in the double entry, we show the debit and credit. But in the single entry, we never show debit or credit. But both the account will be shown. Like double entry, both the accounts will be shown in single entry also, but without showing debit or credit. That is why we must be careful which is debit and which is credit. But for that shortcut, some methods are there, we will learn. So that's we are going to learn now. See here, if you go to voucher, 1 minute. Which company is this? Okay. We will go to our original company, this last company. So here, see here, DAL. So no entries are there, because if you don't have any entries, then it is easy for us. Okay, in this case, if you go to voucher, first one is contra. First entry, that's it. We will go button wise. First one is F4 contra. For F4 contra. So in this case, this is, you keep it aside first. First of all, we discussed that we have to enable single entry method or double entry mode. Single entry mode or double entry mode. So while recording, we can follow double entry mode or single entry mode in the accounting vouchers. So how to enable that double entry or how to enable the single entry? For that, so here, when you enter the accounting voucher creation window, that is when you open the voucher, that is voucher creating. When you open the voucher, then see on the others, right button bar, see, you can see change mode, alt control. See, there are 2 lines below H. If there are 2 lines, it is mean control. One line means alt. So it is control H. So control H you can type, or you can click, sorry, you can click change mode here. Here double entry, single entry is there. Double entry, single entry is there. So generally it will be in the double entry only, other ones. So here change mode means double entry or single entry. See here, double entry or single entry. See here, this by default is double entry means debit and credit. Debit and credit. So it is always debit and credit. It will show this Windows, every company in the vouchers, it will by default, it will be not here, not this voucher, other vouchers, it will be single entry only, mostly single entry. It will be like this. It will be like this. What is the difference between double entry and single entry? First, we will take up single entry. We will take up double entry. Sorry, we will take up double entry. Double entry means showing both debit credit by indicating DRCR. Showing debit and credit with DRCR. Okay, so that means which account is to be debited, which account is to be credited. That we will show. That is the what we call double entry system. And the double entry system, debit and credit will be there. But there is one important thing to be noted is this double entry and single entry system will be available only for 3 accounting vouchers. For others, some others also there, they are not used. I will tell you now. See here, contra voucher, payment voucher, F4 contra voucher, F5, F6 payment voucher, receipt voucher. F5, F6 payment voucher, receipt voucher. These 3 vouchers, definitely they can use, we can use double entry as well as single entry. But F7, 4, 5, 6, next F7. In the case of F7 journal entry, it only follows. The journal entry means just like our manual accounting, in the journal we are writing. So journal we record only with debit and credit. That is double entry system. So in the journal, it follows only double entry. So single entry cannot be activated in the case of journal. Journal means it is like manual accounting. Then manual accounting, there is journal. In the manual accounting also, in the subsidiary books, journal proper is one of the subsidiary book. That is also like journal only. So in the journal, we record with debit and credit. So journal cannot be converted into single entry system. So it is only double entry. And so okay, F4 contra voucher, F5 payment voucher, F6 receipt voucher. We can change the mode, that is single entry or double entry. And the journal voucher, that is F7 journal voucher, it will be in double entry system only, no single entry system for that. And the other vouchers, sales voucher and purchase voucher. Sales voucher and purchase voucher, all these vouchers will be similar, but the sales voucher and purchase voucher, completely the system, the format itself is different completely. Format itself is different. And also for those 2 entries, two vouchers, for those 2 vouchers, there are 3 formats. So they will have separate format, not like this one, not like contra voucher, payment voucher, receipt voucher, not like this, not general. So not like all these, the sales voucher and purchase voucher, the format is completely different. Format is different. So in this format will be in 3 ways. This format will be in 3 types. 3 formats will be there. Generally, everyone use 2 formats only. Everyone use 2 formats. And there is 3rd format also. The 3rd format is called voucher method, voucher mode. That is the mode with double entry. Voucher mode will be double entry. That voucher mode will be double entry. All the 2 modes will not be in double entry, in separate format is there. Separate format. And the double entry system format will be the voucher mode, it is called. But no one use voucher mode, because then I will tell you why it is not used. All the formats we are using, but in this, why you are using or not using the voucher mode? It is called voucher mode. It will be double entry. Voucher mode, it will be double entry. In the voucher mode, it will be double entry. Because, okay, that's why we will not use the double entry system in this. Why you are not using? It shows, but mostly no one use this system. No one use the voucher mode. Everyone use the other formats only, because I will discuss there, because automatic, in the case of sales or purchases, the taxes, TDS and taxes and all these are to be calculated automatically. So for that, when you are going that, we will learn. We make some settings. We make some settings for that. We make some settings. So the taxes, everything will be calculated automatically in the sales voucher as well as purchase voucher, in the returns vouchers also. So there are the other two formats, they will calculate automatically the taxes and everything. Auto calculations will be made. Auto calculations will be made. But in the case of voucher mode, that is in the case of double entry system like other vouchers, if you do that, we cannot, entries can be made, but the automatic calculations cannot be made. Automatic calculations cannot be made. So for every debit and credit, for everything, we have to enter amounts manually. Automatic calculations will be there. In the case of other two formats, the sales voucher or purchase voucher, if you give the amount, sales amount or purchase amount, automatically the taxes, everything will be calculated. Automatically it will be calculated. So they will calculate, it will give the taxes also automatically. But in the case of voucher mode, if you follow the double entry system, in that case, it will not calculate the taxes. We have to give the calculate. So we have to give the personal, we have to give the personal account, that is the seller or buyer. We have to give then value of the goods, then taxes, everything we have to give separately, individually, by manually we have to give. That's a problem for us. That is why nobody uses voucher mode for the sales and purchase vouchers. Only the two formats, they have three formats. That is third one, first two formats only everyone will use. So this is completely different for this. So this we will discuss after some time. First we will discuss about this entries also we will do in these vouchers, and then we will go for sales and purchases. Then there is another option to be activated. Okay, now we will discuss about it. And in this case, in the case of double entry system, in the case of single entry system, both debit account and credit account will be there in the transaction that will be recorded in the voucher. Definitely two accounts should be recorded. But in the case of double entry, we record both debit and credit. We show debit and credit. But in the case of single entry system, we record both the accounts, but we will not show debit or credit. We will not show debit or credit. So that will be different. That's why we must understand the generally in the voucher, in the journal, we start with debit, DR, and then we write credit. Debit, then we write credit, isn't it? But in the case of this accounting vouchers, in the single entry, we are not showing any debit or credit. But the account will be debit or credit. Account will be definitely, but we will not show debit and credit. See, one account is to be debited means that is to be debited, it will be debited, but we will not show debit in this case. So in the double entry system and single entry system, the voucher starts with credit sometimes. In some cases, it starts with debit. So it will start with credit in some system. In the double entry system, if it starts with credit, in the single entry system, it starts with debit. In the double entry system, it starts with debit, in this case, credit. If it starts credit in the double entry, in single entry, it will start the opposite. I'll show you how. See here, in the double entry system, what is double entry system? See here, I will show you. This is double entry system, isn't it? This is double entry system showing debit and credit, contra entry. Similarly, payment entry, see debit, then credit will be there. This one, receipt entry, credit, then debit will be there. See, starting with credit, in the previous one, starting with debit, like we will learn that. So in this case of double entry, in the case of double entry system, contra voucher starts, I will show you, contra voucher. See, in the case of double entry system, that means showing debit and credit, contra voucher will start with credit. Contra voucher will start with credit. You see, contra voucher, it starts with credit. You must be careful. Contra entry means what is that? Cash to petty cash, cash to bank, bank to cash, that one. That means credit means, in the case of cash, if the cash is going out, cash will be credited. If the bank is giving to us, bank account will be credited. That's, we know, while recording we will know. So contra entry starts with, contra voucher starts with credit. Payment voucher starts with debit. Payment voucher starts with debit. The payment voucher, who is taking the money from us? To whom we are paying? Debit the receiver. So that account will be debited. So payment voucher will start with debit, and receipt voucher, it starts with credit. Receipt voucher F6 receipt. Receipt voucher starts with credit. You see? So first one, contra voucher credit, then payment voucher debit, then receipt voucher credit. So we have know in the case of double entry. So which we have, as per the rules, we know which account is to be credited and which account to be debited. So depending on that, so in the case of receipt, which account is to be credited? Means receipt means we're getting money from some others. So the giver is to be credited. Here we have to take the personal name, X and debit. So X and Co. Okay, 2,000 rupees. Then on the credit side, I over, then debit side. So we're receiving from X and Co. What we are receiving? You may receive cash or check. So if you are receiving cash, we have to select cash. If you are receiving check, we have to select bank. Okay. So like this, the receipt voucher starts with credit. Receipt voucher. Payment voucher, I told already. Payment voucher starts with debit. We are to whom we are paying. So we are paying to creditor X and Co. We are paying. So debit, it is debit. Starting with debit, and what we are paying? Cash. Cash is going out. So cash account is credited. So like this, these are the rules we have to remember. But if you enter one or two vouchers, then you will understand, no problem. So double entry system is showing debit and credit. It starts with contra voucher. Contra voucher starts with credit. Payment voucher starts with debit. Receipt voucher starts with credit. So credit, debit, credit. 4, 5, 6 buttons. Credit, debit, credit. But in the case of single entry, exact opposite. Contra voucher starts with debit. Contra voucher starts with debit. It is credit. It is exactly opposite. Payment voucher starts with credit. Receipt voucher starts with debit. That is credit, debit, credit, debit, credit, debit. I will show you in the case of single entry. So here, voucher, we will go there. So we'll go to, it is double entry now. We may change it to single entry. So we have single entry. In the single entry, both accounts will be shown, but not like showing one by one, debit, credit. Both are shown separately. One is above the box and another one is inside the box without showing debit or credit. But one account is debit, surely. We all know show DR, but it is debit. We will not show CR, but it is credit. In this case, how they will show? Contra voucher, we start with debit. See here, contra voucher. Nothing is given. Contra voucher means cash to bank, bank to cash, or bank to bank, cash to this one, cash to petty cash. See here, in the case of contra voucher, we are paying into the bank. We are paying into the bank. That means we are paying into the bank means in the case of double entry system, debit the receiver, bank is debit, receiver, bank account is debited, and cash account going out, cash is going out. Bank account is debited, cash account is credited. So bank account debit, cash account credit. So in this case, in the case of contra, what we will do? We are depositing means, so bank account which is to be debited or credited. We are paying to the bank means we are paying into bank means bank is receiving. Bank is receiving. So in this case, it starts with debit. So what is debited? To be debited. One more thing is here, even if you don't know debit and credit, just simply in this case, in this bar, if you press space bar, it will show the account. Only those we have to select anyone. So what are you doing? We are depositing into the bank. We are withdrawing from the bank. Withdrawing from the bank means we are getting from the bank. So here, how you are getting? In the contrary, how you are getting? You are getting not cash. You are getting, from the bank. Bank account is to be credited because, deposit. In the case of deposit, see, bank account which starts with debit. Debit means Deposit, we are depositing into the State Bank means bank is receiving. So State Bank is to be debited. State Bank is to be debited. Okay, State Bank is debited and we are paying cash, only cash and debt. We are paying cash. Cash, suppose 2000 rupees we are depositing. Now you see, State Bank debit. You can see here, debit. Cash account, cash is going out because we don't have money. That's why it is showing in red. That is negative balance. Here warning is also given. It is shown in red also. So cash account is credit. Starts with debit and ends with credit. So when you are depositing into the bank, bank is receiving. So bank account is to be debited. That is why if you select there at that one, if you press space bar, only these two accounts will appear. So we are selecting State Bank. So here the other one is cash. Definitely automatically is there. When you select bank there, the second one automatically it is selecting the cash. So this is for depositing. This is for depositing. And suppose you are withdrawing. Suppose you are withdrawing from bank. When you are withdrawing from bank, see here cash and State Bank. So when you are withdrawing from bank, you are receiving cash from bank. So receiving cash means cash is coming, bank is giving. So in the case of these accounts, cash is coming in means cash account is to be debited. So here cash is debited. And the other one is State Bank of India. Other one is State Bank of India, 2000. You see here. So cash we are receiving. So cash account is debited. And State Bank account is credited, is giving. So debit, credit. We are not showing debit and credit, but we can see the balances. Okay. So like this contra voucher always starts with debit. But that time entry also will be one account will be above, just account. They will show account, how you paid, how you received. In the case of payments, receipts, how you received, how you paid. In the case of contra, deposited in the bank or received in the bank, from the bank. This will be, that is called the account. That is called the account here. And one account will be there, the other account will be there. Inside the box, that is in the particulars, another account will be there. So one account above the box, above the particulars, one account below the particulars. One account is debit and one is credit. In the case of contra entry, in the case, this is called single entry. In the single entry, the contra voucher always starts with debit. So this is debit account and we enter the credit account under the particulars column. Okay, this is for contra entry. And next one is payment voucher. Next one is payment voucher. In the payment voucher, it always starts with credit. Payment voucher means, see, we are making the payment. So how you will pay? Making the payment means you are making payment to others. So how you will pay? Either we will pay cash or we will pay through the bank. If you pay cash, cash is going out, or if you pay through the bank, bank is giving. So credit the given in the case of bank. In the case of cash, credit what goes out. So cash is going out or the bank is giving. So in this case, we have to select cash. In this case, we have to select either cash or bank. So here payment, how you paid? Paid cash. So cash is credited. How you paid means, how cash paid means cash is going out. So payment voucher, it starts with credit. In the case of single entry, in the case of double entry, starts with debit. In the case of single entry, starts with credit. Okay. And now we are paying now. To whom we paid? So again, we enter the space bar. All the accounts we see. In this case, cash and bank are not available. Cash and bank and the upper part, how you paid. And in the below the particulars, to whom you paid? You paid to any expenses, you paid rent, or you paid salary, or you paid to any party, or you paid taxes, GST, or you paid commission, maybe paid or received, okay, or you purchased commission. In the case of cash purchase of fixed assets, that is entered in payment also. So computer, we purchased the computer and paid cash, purchase account computer, and payment means, see here, credit, starts with credit. Cash is paid and computer is debit, asset is coming. Okay, like this, we have to follow. You remember this, you take photo and you can see, again note down. Okay, and then this is the payment voucher. Then you go to the receipt voucher. Receipt voucher always receipt voucher shows, starts with debit. The receipt voucher means F6. F6, In the F6, wait 1 minute. In the F6, this always starts with debit. Debit means we received. Received means, what is the meaning of received? Received something. I mean, cash or through bank, check. So received means the check is coming, the cash is coming in, or if you receive the check, we will deposit in the bank. That is, bank is receiving the money. On behalf of us, the bank is receiving the money. That is why debit the receiver, bank, isn't it? Or debit what comes in, debit. So this receipt voucher starts with debit only. Starts with debit only. So what you received? We received check, for example, State Bank of India. That means we deposited in State Bank of India. State Bank is receiving on our behalf. So then, and then the other one is how you received, from where you received. I received from X and Co, for example. X and Co 2000. Okay, we receive. So debit the receiver. We are receiving the money. Receipt means receiving. Debit the receiver, or debit what comes in. If the cash you get, debit what comes in, cash. If you receive a check, we'll deposit in the bank. So the bank is receiving the money on our behalf. So debit the receiver. So that is debit. So it always starts with debit, and in the down, that is in the particulars column, from where you received, from whom you received. Did you receive from any person, or did you receive any income? Suppose this is received from X and Co, or otherwise you received commission. So commission means it is income. You can always, incomes and expenses, there is both, right? Income received or expenses paid. For commission paid, you keep another account. Expenses received, commission received, you keep another account, because both will be different. Income will be different and expense will be different, because in the final accounts, expenses are to be debited on the profit and loss account. Incomes are to be shown on the credit side of the profit and loss account. That is why, but otherwise you have to check up the account. Debits you have to separate, credits you have to separate, and you have to take. Otherwise, this account directly can be transferred to profit and loss. That is why for income, for example, this is income. For example, this is income received. Sorry. Commission received. Indirect income. Commission received. So I am writing commission received 2000. Okay. So it starts with how you received cash, debit, or the received through bank. The bank is receiving the bank is receiving the cash check on our behalf. So bank debit. So debit the receiver. So it starts with debit. Understand? So in this way, we have to record in the double entry as well as single entry. Single entry, double entry. This is single entry. Double entry means just like our journal, debit, credit. Okay. And so this is the accounting vouchers. Then everything in the journal always write first debit, then credit. But in this case, these accounting vouchers, some vouchers start with debit, some vouchers start with credit, depending on the system of entry, double entry system or single entry system. But generally, payments and receipts, they mostly, the single entry system will be used by most of the people. And the next one is, so 4, 5, 6 buttons. Next F7 general voucher. General voucher is nothing but the journal. In the manual accounting, you have journal. So journal always records with debit and credit only. There will be no single entry system. It will be under double entry system only. So this journal voucher will be under double entry system only, no single entry. Default only double entry. Only double entry system. And double entry system means always they start with debit. You see here, vouchers. If you go to journal, which is the button? F7. See already, see in this case, see this change mode, changing double entry, single entry, that mode is disabled here. That means we cannot change the mode. There is no single entry mode in this journal, only double entry, debit and credit. Only double entry, debit and credit. So in the double entry, suppose we purchased computer on credit. Purchase for cash means it will be regarded the payment voucher. But in this case, purchasing any asset or selling an asset, on credit, that will be recorded in the journal. So we are purchasing computer for 25,000. We are purchasing computer for 25,000. Credit from, we received, for example, we purchased from X and Co. Okay. So debit computer, credit X and Co. Okay. Similarly, we sold the, for example, in this case, again, we sold the old computer. In this case, we sold, only if you sell on credit only. So to whom you sold? I sold to Y and Co. So debit the receiver. So Y and Co is debited. For example, we sold for 20,000. Credit. What you sold? We sold computer. So computer we sold, it is credited. Credit what goes out. So it is credited. Understand? So like this, always this journal voucher will be under double entry system only. There is no single entry system. That is why the control H button is disabled. Okay, this is what. And this voucher mode, I mean the sales and purchases voucher, this single entry system, or I mean double entry system is called voucher mode. These are all vouchers now. So how these vouchers we are recording? Either double entry or single entry. In this case, double entry system is followed in voucher mode and single entry system is followed in the other two forms. There are two formats other except this voucher mode, another two formats. Item invoice one mode, another one is accounting invoice. So how you will record in that, all that we will come later. Okay. So this is the thing I put into. Generally this voucher mode, nobody uses this because the work is more, because all the calculations we have to do personally. We have to enter everything manually. But in the case of other formats, if you set up the rates and all these things, automatically the calculations will be made. That we will understand in the coming videos. Okay. So with this, our system is completed. That is debit and credit, using activating debit and credit instead of to and by, and entering entries will be made, either entries in single entry mode or double entry mode. How? Because when we are making entries, we have to see which is better. Generally, these vouchers, the payment and contra payment receipts, all these double entry system is not useful. Only single entry system will be good for this. And voucher will be double entry system, that is journal voucher. And for sales, that double entry system cannot be used. It can be used, but it is a problem. Work will be more. For that, other formats, that is not a double entry or system single entry. That is separate format is there. We record in that. So with this, our system is completed. Our complete work is groundwork. Complete groundwork is done. Groundwork means for making the entries or recording the transactions in the vouchers. Before that, we have completed all the groundwork. Completed basement. Now we have to build the building. So now we have to go and record the transactions. Next one is for each voucher, how to record the transactions. Okay. So this is the thing. With this, we end this session today. And I will tell you one request for you. Please subscribe to my channel and click bell icon and select all, so that you will get the notifications for all my videos, and share this my channel with all the people. And while watching, you watch that video, every video till the ending. Don't skip the videos. And after that, you like the video and you post your comments in the comment section. That is very important. Your idea about the video you post in the. And okay, and I every time I'm telling you. So if you want in this offline or online class also, I am conducting. So if anybody want, I can contact me through the details given in the about section. With this, we end this one, and you follow my videos as I uploaded in the same order. You will get expert knowledge. You will become a very good accountant. I wish all you become perfect accountants with expert knowledge. Okay. So with this, I send this, and we'll meet in the next video. Bye. Okay.